What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Wednesday recording with your favorite host, Michael, here at Chinochi Sports, and let's get into today's recording. So ever since the end of last season, all the way through the draft, then all the way into the offseason, there has been multiple hype trains surrounding this upcoming NFL season. And today, I'm going to talk about the 5 biggest ones and tell you whether to go full speed ahead, proceed with caution, or to pump the brakes. So, let's get started. First, we have Drew Locke and the Denver Broncos. Look, Drew Locke had the Denver Broncos looking like a completely different team last year. In the last 5 games, they went 4-1. Locke completed 64% of his passes, 7 touchdowns, 3 picks, and a near 90 passer rating. Before Locke started, the Broncos weren't even averaging 16 points a game. And with Locke in the starting lineup, they averaged over 21 points per game. However, let's pump the brakes on this, all right? Let's not crown him the eventual MVP. He's not a dark horse MVP yet. Let's not get there. First off, of the 5 teams that he faced last season, 4 of those teams that Drew Locke faced ranked in the bottom 10 in opponent passer rating. The only team that didn't, the Kansas City Chiefs, whom he lost to. In the first 7 games of Denver's season coming up, only one of those first 7 teams ranked in the bottom 10 with passer rating. So let me see how those first couple of weeks go. They have Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and the Jets. If the Broncos don't come out of that 4-game stretch 3-1 or better, I don't want to hear any more talk about Drew Locke being a dark horse MVP. I don't want to hear. Yes, I know they added Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler in the draft, and I want them to be great. But that 21-point mark that the Broncos averaged with Drew Locke last year, that's only 8. That would have only been 18th best had he started all 16 games with that same scoring average. So, like I said, let's pump the brakes on this. Let's see how they do in the first 4 games. If the Broncos are 3-1 or better, then I'll come back to this. But if they're not, I don't want to hear it anymore. Second, you have Kyler Murray and friends. Deandre Hopkins, who they just fleeced from the Houston Texans, Larry Fitzgerald, and Christian Kirk form a solid wide receiver core of an all-pro level talent, a savvy veteran, and a promising young talent. Then you have Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds, and 7th-round draft pick Eno Benjamin, and that's a 3-back rotation of 3 down backs. Let's not forget, Eno Benjamin was a stud at Arizona State. He led the Pac-12 in scrimmage yards and scrimmage touchdowns as a sophomore in 2018. Oh, and Charles Clay and Max Williams at the tight end position, both of them played in at least 15 games, and both of them have a 75% or better catch rate. So all around, Kyler Murray now has a solid group of weapons. And we all saw 5-2 in games with 2 or fewer sacks when it comes for Kyler Murray. And when it comes to this upcoming season, full speed ahead. Look, like I said, Kyler Murray went 5-2 against teams who made 2 or fewer sacks against him. And here are some of the teams who he plays. Detroit ranked 29th in sacks. The Jets ranked 23rd in sacks. Seattle ranked 31st. And he plays them twice. But Miami ranked 32nd. The Giants ranked 22nd. And Dallas ranked 19th. That's 7 games right there against teams who averaged in the bottom half as far as how many sacks they got last season. So if Kyler Murray can go 5-2 or better against those teams, maybe they have something. Also, Kyler Murray doesn't shy away from the moment. He beat Seattle late in the season when Seattle knew that the division was on the line. He played San Francisco close twice, and he looked good in both games. He went 41 for 57, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 116.3 passer rating. And let's look at the other teams he plays. He plays Washington, who, while they were 10th in sacks, they gave up the second most rushing yards, which means what? They're open to both the read option, which Kyler Murray runs really, really well, and play action, which Kyler Murray runs really, really well. How about you look at Buffalo? They struggled against all mobile quarterbacks they faced last year. Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Carson Wentz, Baker Mayfield, lost to all of them. New England, they lost to Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Ryan Tannehill, Patrick Mahomes, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Oh, what does that mean? That they struggled against mobile quarterbacks last year. All those quarterbacks can move. And look at the Rams. The Rams, yes, they were 4th in sacks, but they were 11th in turnovers. Arizona, 24th. That means Kyler Murray doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He makes a lot of his throws. So don't be surprised if Kyler Murray, you know what I'm saying, they win the division. Hey, I'm just saying, if we already seen Seattle at times cannot give Russell Wilson enough help and don't miss the playoffs. We've seen that before. And if San Francisco has a terrible, terrible Super Bowl hangover like we've seen of other teams as of late, who knows? Coming in at number 3, we have Tampa Bay. Now, remember in the offseason, everyone was like, oh, Tom Brady's going to go to the Chargers. He's going to go to the Titans. He's going to go to the Cowboys of all teams. No. Tom Brady's just like every other human being. He goes where all old people go to retire. Tampa Bay, I'm not joking. Look it up. I swear the percentage in Tampa Bay is like 50% retired old people, 50% people who are trying to get there. Look, he probably has his best collection of weapons in Tampa Bay with Evans, Chris Godwin, Cameron Bate, O.J. Howard, and Rob Gronkowski that he's had in a very, very long time. And he has a great offensive head coach in Bruce Arians, and it's a warm weather city with a very, very loyal fan base. However, when it comes to this hype train, I'm going to tell you to proceed with caution. Look, some of the issues that haunted New England season last year also haunts Tampa Bay. New England had kicking issues. They made less than 80% of their field goals and 87% of the extra points. Tampa Bay had kicking issues last year. They made a lower percentage of their field goals and made less than 90% of the extra points. I understand Matt Gay was a rookie kicker, but Jason Sanders, Harrison Butker, and Michael Badgley all kicked 90% or better of their field goals in their rookie seasons. Maybe it's just a bug where kickers that Tampa Bay drafts just aren't as good as we think they are. Yes, looking at you, Aguayo. Look at the season that Tampa Bay had last year. Week 3 against the New York Giants. That was the game when Daniel Jones splashed on the scene by making a game-winning touchdown run. And Matt Gay missed a potential game-winning field goal. Week 9 at Seattle. Seattle won that game 40-34 in overtime. Matt Gay missed a field goal in that game. Week 16 in Houston. They lost 23-20. Matt Gay missed a field goal. Week 17 in Atlanta. Tampa Bay lost 28-22 in overtime. Matt Gay missed 3 field goals. If Matt Gay could have made 4 field goals last year, Tampa Bay, we're talking about them being a 10-6 or an 11-5 team, and we're not talking about Jameis Winston being on the Saints or Tom Brady being on the Bucks. If he had just made 4 field goals, it's not really asking for a lot as far as NFL standards. It would only make him the 8th most accurate field goal kicker in the NFL. And if you just ask him to make 3 more, he's not even in the top 10 as far as accuracy. Another thing that troubled New England's season was the lack of a run game. They were so desperate to create a run game that Bill Belichick enlisted the talents of a linebacker to be his fullback. Tampa Bay has those same running issues. New England ranked 18th in yards and 25th in yards per attempt. Tampa Bay ranked 24th in yards and 28th in yards per attempt. Now, there are two things that Tampa Bay hasn't shown that they have yet that New England has had almost the entire time that Tom Brady's been there. Offensive line and defense. Tampa Bay had the fourth worst scoring defense in the NFL. New England had the best. No, I do not want to hear about Jameis Winston's pick sixes because Tampa Bay still has a bottom 10 scoring defense if you take out the pick sixes. Oh, what about the turnovers? Los Angeles Chargers ranked 4th in turnovers, yet had the 5th best scoring defense. Pittsburgh ranked 5th in turnovers, and yet had the 14th best scoring defense. So, no. I don't want to hear anything about the turnovers last year because just because you turn the ball over doesn't make you a terrible scoring team. Now, another thing, like I said, is the offensive line. New England allowed 28 sacks last year. Tampa Bay allowed 47. And I understand, yes, they did draft Tristan Wirfs in the first round. That's cool. But 2 out of the 3 out of Brady's 3 division opponents in Carolina and New Orleans ranked in the top 3 in sacks last year. And I don't know if you just saw, but the Carolina Panthers just drafted Derek Brown. He's a really solid pass rusher, and he's a defensive tackle, which means that your first round pick won't be blocking him. So I understand you're cool. You got you a left tackle, but who's going to stop that? All right, number 4, you have the return of Big Ben. Now, look, he only started 2 games last year, completed less than 57% of his passes, no touchdowns with a pick, and a 66 passer rating. Now, he said they're saying that he's rehabbed to 100% in the offseason, and he's trimmed his beard to the point to where it needs only 2 more trims to become a regular beard, and the verdict is full speed ahead. I know, it's so crazy. How? The Pittsburgh Steelers has missed the playoffs for the 2nd year in a row. Yeah, cool. But let's not forget what happened last year. You lose your franchise quarterback in week 2. You start the season 0-3. Then you go 8-2 with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges as your quarterbacks. And then you go 0-3, scoring 10 points in each of your final 3 games. Now, 5 out of the 8 losses that the Steelers suffered were within 7 points. San Francisco, Seattle, Baltimore, Buffalo, and the New York Jets. And let's not forget that if Pittsburgh could have won the final game, they're in. Not Tennessee. We don't see Tennessee beat Lamar Jackson, beat Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and almost beat Patrick Mahomes. We don't see that if Pittsburgh can manage to win 1 of their final 3 games. That doesn't happen at all. Yes, they had a terrible rushing attack last year, but their fullback missed 13 out of 16 games, and all 3 of their key running backs in Jalen Samuels, James Conner, and Benny Snell missed some of the season. So I don't want to hear anything. And that defense is still elite. They ranked 5th in scoring and yards allowed. So I don't want to hear it about Pittsburgh's lost a step. And I do not want to hear anything about Mike Tomlin being on the hot seat. But he's missed the playoffs for the past 2 years. Do we remember what happened in that 2018 season? Are we just going to act like, oh, the running back who was probably going to be the best running back in your franchise? Oh, yeah, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. Oh, and you're going to start the season with a 21-21 tie against the Cleveland Browns, in which you commit 6 turnovers to Cleveland's 1 turnover. Oh, and you're also going to go on a 3-game losing streak against the Denver Broncos, the Chargers, and the Oakland Raiders, where you have a -5 turnover differential. Wait. So it's Tomlin's fault that in 3 losses and a tie, his team had a -10 turnover differential? I'm sorry, does Mike Tomlin play on the field? Did he commit those turnovers? Am I missing something? Am I missing something? Mike Tomlin is the only thing that has kept this ship afloat. If you say that Mike Tomlin is on the hot seat, you're saying that everything that's happened in the past 2 years falls on Mike Tomlin's shoulders. And that is not the case at all. Mike Tomlin lost his franchise running back, franchise wide receiver, and franchise quarterback in the span of 2 years. One of them wanted money, one of them went insane, and one of them had his elbow completely shattered. And that's Mike Tomlin's fault? Because he had to put up with all that and still went 9-6-1 and 8-8? Tell Bill Belichick, hey, Bill, here's what's going to happen. You're going to lose Sonny Michel, lose Tom Brady, and lose Julian Edelman. Try to do something with that. Even Bill Belichick couldn't do anything with that. And we all know that. So no, Mike Tomlin is not on the hot seat. Big Ben, if he comes back 100% healthy, will lead to the Steelers to at least a wild card, potentially a division lead if teams figure out how to solve Lamar Jackson. And everything that happened in the past 2 years will be forgotten about. Fifth and final hype train we have is Joe Burrow being crowned as the new King of Ohio. Look, he is the number 1 overall pick. T. Higgins, they drafted him out of Clemson in the 2nd round. Tyler Boyd looked really good last year. You have Rodney Anderson coming back. Corey Glenn missed half of 2019. He'll be healthy. AJ Green missed all of 2019. He'll be healthy. Alex Redmond missed half of 2019. He'll be healthy. Jonah Williams, your 1st-round pick last year, he missed all of 2019. He'll be back. John Ross missed half of 2019. He'll be back. This team looks solid. Looks really, really good. But let's pump the brakes on this, please. And it's not that I don't think Joe Burrow will have a good season, because I'm pretty sure he'll have a spectacular season. But with Pro Football Focus saying that he'll have a better season than Baker Mayfield, all right, yes, please, let's stop this right now. It's going too far. I understand he had a terrific season at LSU, but that was his 2nd season. Didn't he just lose like a 7 overtime game to Texas A&M in his junior year? Oh, but in his senior year, he had a great defense, a great O-line, a great running backs, great weapons, a great coach. And I'm supposed to believe that he's going to do what he did in LSU in his first year at Cincinnati, despite having the worst coach, the best wide receiver core in his division by a smidge, a solid running back core, but still ranks 3rd in his division by a smidge, the worst O-line in his division, the worst tight ends in his division, the worst defense in his division, and at this current point, he's the worst quarterback in his division. Yet I'm supposed to believe that he's going to have a better season than Baker Mayfield, who finally has his coaching situation figured out. The Browns finally decided to start investing into the offensive line. They have a great running back core, and they have terrific weapons and a terrific defense. Oh, did I mention that Baker actually has a good coach this year? I understand. Joe Burrow was amazing at LSU, and he will be amazing in the NFL. But to act like Joe Burrow is somehow the solo piece that the Bengals have been missing, and now they'll be a wild card contender or even a division contender, is lunacy. There's a reason why number 1 overall picks who are quarterbacks don't really succeed in their initial season. There's a reason why Andrew Luck was the only number 1 overall pick to win more than 10 games in his initial season. There's a reason for that. It's because the Colts that year, they invested into the upcoming season all the season prior. The Bengals really didn't do that. You didn't see the Bengals stacking up draft picks or getting savvy veterans to help the team. No. They essentially said, we're just going to retool and do what we can, just like any other team. Look at the look in the past 5 years, the number one overall quarterbacks to be drafted: Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Jameis Winston. They all combined to go 17-33 and won in their rookie years. How about old greats with Troy Aikman and the Mannings? They went 4-30 in their rookie years. Alex Smith, Matt Stafford, they combined for 4-13 with 14 touchdowns and 31 interceptions in the rookie year. Look, Joe Burrow will have a good rookie campaign. Great, maybe even, but he can't carry the subpar Bengals in his first year. He won't be able to, because a lot of the problems that the Bengals had last year with Andy Dalton, they're going to have them this year with Joe Burrow. And that's not an indictment on Joe Burrow. That's an indictment on the Bengals.